All right, welcome back to another episode of Through the Roof, a consumer-focused podcast where we talk about all things residential metal roofing. I'm Mason Burchett. I'm your host. I'm here with my co-host, Adam Clark. What's up, man?
What's up, Mason? How you doing?
Good. Just burning up, sweating. It's hot down here.
It's the heat. It's the Tennessee heat.
It's hot. Yeah, we got this heat wave going on. I thought we were going to start seeing some more 80 degree days, and we're getting back up into those 95 degree days. So I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Put you out there on the roll former.
You know what we need is a good metal roof to reflect all that solar energy.
It would just bounce all that heat back away from us. Yeah.
Hey, but we're not alone. We're joined by a guest here.
Yeah, we've got Manny Glick with us here on the call today, and we're really excited to have Manny with us. We've gotten to know Manny over the last couple of years, and we've interacted with his product and with his team, and we're really excited to have Manny here in the booth with us. And Manny, I'm going to pass it over to you if you want to just do a quick introduction on who you are, how you interact with the metal roofing industry, and we'll jump into some product information here as the episode continues.
Sure. I feel really honored to be here with you guys today, and privileged to be able to be on your podcast. I've been keying in to some of your podcasts, and really good content. Appreciate what you guys bring to the metal roofing industry. So a little about myself. I've been in the metal roofing industry I was an installer for about 15 years, and then started supply. And in the northeast region here in Pennsylvania is where we are a supplier for standing seam metal roofing products. And in the first, I'd say, 5 years of my supply industry is when we seen the need for a ridge vent part. Kind of was inspired by a customer of ours. He said, "Hey, I'm not liking the ridge vent options for standing seam. Isn't there something better?" And so that's when we got to the drawing board and started seeing, what can we do here to provide a good quality product for standing seam metal roofing ridge vents.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've really appreciated about what you bring to the table and what your company has brought to the table is your innovation in an industry and kind of just seeing a problem firsthand. I think I've always appreciated the installers who have worked with the product and then gone on to fix a problem that they've interacted with, in those years, and helping other customers who've identified similar problems. So the product that you're talking about is the Snap Z vented closure, correct?
That's correct. And you guys were talking about the heat down there in Tennessee here today, and certainly a ridge vent is a key component of a metal roofing system. And you talked about solar reflectivity. You have the light colored metal roofs helps reflect the solar or the heat of the sun. And then if you have that combined with a good ridge vent and a soffit ventilation system, it can really help cool the attic space and ultimately save on energy costs and heating and also in cooling in the summertime.
Yeah, energy costs are something I think we're all kind of fighting right now. We've seen energy increase significantly over the summer, and especially down here in Tennessee, we're seeing air conditioning units running more and more often and longer times throughout the day. So getting a roof, specifically a metal roof, which has high reflectivity, but getting it as efficient as possible is really the goal for a lot of our customers, and helping them understand what that efficient system looks like is really kind of the focus of the episode today.
Yeah, especially since we're dealing with homeowners, sometimes we take for granted what isn't known, what kind of information is just not really well known by the average homeowner, and we shouldn't expect them to know unless they've really interacted with with somebody that's familiar with the products. I mean, if I wasn't in the metal roofing industry, I would never think to ask, what kind of Z channel is being used to ventilate my attic space on my standing seam roof. That's really something that us as suppliers should take the responsibility to make sure that this information is being presented to them.
Well, you might almost think, and I would think if I didn't know anything about the industry, hey, seal that attic off. Don't let any moisture get in.
Right.
And that's not necessarily what you want to do, at least not in every application. So, Manny, talk a little bit about the airflow efficiency, and maybe you can help our listeners understand what they're actually trying to achieve when they have a soffit or a gable vent paired with the ridge vent system that you've created.
Yeah, so on your standing seam, the SnapZ ridge vent system is specifically designed to work in conjunction with a standing seam metal roofing system. And so the up on the ridge part of the metal, the top part at the peak of your roof is what's considered the exhaust part of the roofing system. And then down at the eave part of the roof, you have what's called soffits. And at the soffit, you have the intake part, and at the peak, you have the exhaust. And so they say you should have a ratio of about more intake than you have exhaust. But the standing seam ridge vent parts that we have designed, they have different, based on the different rib height applications you have. There's different exhaust options there, and you can find that on our website, the details for that, and how to figure out and how to calculate how much exhaust you need on your ridge in comparison to what you need on your soffits. But certainly, ridge venting is a very important part of a metal roofing application. In the northern part of the country here, in the Northeast where we're at, we have these cooling cycles where you can have condensation build up on the inside of the roof. And so at that point in time, very important to have airflow and temperature changes that is not occurring on the metal roofing, underside of the metal roofing, causing condensation. And I'll just illustrate that by an example. At a time when I was doing a metal roofing installer, we had this customer we worked with, and he had a cedar shingle roof on his house, and we replaced it with a metal roof. And so it was shortly after and this was prior to our SnapZ days. This was part of our learning curve, you could say. Shortly after we had installed the roof, I got a call, and he said, "Hey, my roof is leaking." And of course, as a roofer, you never want to hear that.
Right.
So I go out there, and I couldn't find this thing. I said, "Well, next time it rains, I'll stop by again, and we'll pinpoint this down and find out exactly where this is." Well, it rained, and there was no leak, and I just couldn't get this. So wintertime came around. He said, "Hey, my roof is leaking." So I got out there again, and here what was happening is he wasn't having the attic floor wasn't insulated properly. It was an old house. So when you had the cedar roof on there, the cedar is more porous, and so it could breathe, right? Mm-hmm. But he was losing heat through the attic space, and what was happening, it was hitting the metal and condensating and dripping back down on the attic floor, thus causing what was perceived to be a leak. So we said, okay, how do we fix this? So number one, we needed to get the attic space insulated, the bottom side of the attic space, get that insulated, and then provide a proper ventilation for the ridge vent as well. So those two combined.
What options were available for venting the ridge prior to creating the SnapZ product?
So there was some foam options available in our area where we were at. We really didn't know of anything available. So we would go and perforate a Z-closure. This was, of course, now in the early 2000s I'm talking about now. So we would go and perforate a Z-closure and put that down, but that came back to bite us later too, because we got wind-driven rain and snow issues then. because we didn't have any backer behind it. So you'd have the wind and rain and snow blow coming through.
Yeah, and we've seen that. We've seen the perforated Z channels used without the woven polymer. We can talk a little bit more about the components of the Snap Z, but yeah, that's always kind of been my concern. Will it stop birds and critters from getting in there and create some breathability? Yeah, it will, but if you get that wind-blown rain, especially in some of the storms that we've seen here recently, you don't have that extra layer of protection that keeps the moisture from being blown back up under the ridge cap.
That's right. With an open Z closure, or with the perforated Zs without the foam backer incorporated into the Z closure, there is definitely a potential for wind-driven rain and snow for blowing in there. So yeah, it was a learning curve for me in my early metal roofing career, and I always thought in the back of my mind, there's just got to be a better way, And it was through the knocks and the hard. We learned, you could say, the hard way in some instances where we thought, well, we'll try this, and if it doesn't work, and obviously we had some issues, and so we kept perfecting it till we got to the point where we were satisfied with the Snapzy part.
Were you able to just stop installing altogether and start doing Snapzy production? Or what did that look like for you? I mean, as you started, are you an engineer, or how did you come up with the solution? How did you identify the best products? And we'll talk about the quality of your product here, because honestly, I mean, we've touched a lot of venting systems out there, and there's nothing from a quality standpoint that comes close to the Snapzy product. And it's really, really impressive. And your background in roofing, I'm curious how you guys came up with such a high quality solution to that problem. What did that process look like?
So the process was, I don't consider myself to be an engineer. I was a roofer on the roof every day, putting roofs on. But it really was birthed out of the thing saying, what can we do to make it better? And so, we were bending our own trim packages, and we're able to bend some things on the brake. But it really started with a customer of mine, and this was after I got out of the standing seam install part. I was not a installer at this point, moved into doing supply like you guys are doing. And there was a customer who said to me, he said, I don't like what you shipped out. Isn't there something better? So at that point, I went back into the shop and said, okay, I'm gonna see if I can do something here. And so we just started bending on the brake until we got a part where we felt comfortable selling. I took back out to him and said, hey, what do you think about this? And he said, I like it. That's what I want. And so that's how Snapzy originated. That was the first job that was ever done in Snapzy. And unfortunately, on that job, I think maybe a month after the job was done, the entire house burned down. And so they needed replacement parts at a later time then. But yeah, that was the beginning of Snapzy. And that's been in 2015. So we're now about 7 years into it. And of course, have since moved on from breaking it on brakes. And now we're, mass producing the part.
Well, that's one of the things that's really cool that I like about the Snapzy product is you don't just sell it in a 10-foot section and you have to field cut it, because that's a little bit frustrating and that's hard, especially with the heavier gauge and the double hemmed product that you guys produce. You're actually cutting them off in sections that fit between the ribs of the panels, and we use a 16-inch wide panel, and so I think the actual width of the piece that you provided to us, Manny, is 15 and 1.5 or 15 3/8, something like that, where it actually sits down between the panel ribs, and you don't have to do any field cutting, which is really nice for our installers.
Oh yeah, super easy to install. And like you referenced it earlier, the quality of the product. Like when you pick up this product, I mean, you've got the pre-installed butyl tape, you've got the ventilation material on the back, you got the heavy gauge material. Like it is a premium ventilation product. And I'm thinking about this, Manny, when I'm holding this product. One of the first house I ever bought had a cheap asphalt shingle roof on it, and it had the old aluminum ridge vent kind of thing on the top, and part of it blew off in a storm. And so I got up there and was nailing it back down. I was like, man, this is some of the biggest junk I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm holding a product like this. Like, what should a homeowner expect when they have Snap Z on their roof? How long is that going to be there?
So Snap Z is designed to last the lifetime of your roof. So think of it this way: if you're putting down a standing seam metal roofing system, and you've got all the parts and you got this quality job, right? The metal roofing panels will last you, it will outlast the paint, right? The metal will outlast the paint at some point in time. Many of these companies are offering a 30 to 50 year warranty on their paints, but really the metal will last a long time. And so if you're putting a ridge vent part up there that is made up of the same components as your metal roofing is made up of, it will last as long as your roof will last.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that is so impressive about this product is not only will the metal last as long as the roof will last, but Mason indicated you guys have gone and you've actually applied a butyl sealant on the bottom of the piece where the Snap Z sits on the panel, so sits on the flat of the pan of the panel, and then you peel back the wax paper off of the butyl tape and it sits right down and you screw right through the butyl tape, so you have a seal that goes around the screws that are securing the Z channel or the Snap Z to the roof, and then you've got that foam closure on the back. I mean, you're really talking about a total product that is designed to weather any storm or most storms, maybe the most extreme ones. We're all doomed for some of those, I think. But
yeah.
I really think this is a really, really great product that is designed to last as long, and maybe in some cases even longer than the roofing systems that are up there, because it's not susceptible to necessarily the decking failing underneath. You've got a really high quality component that you can rely on with the Snap Z.
Yeah, man. I don't want to over or under. I guess understate. I don't even know what word I'm trying to use here. Understate the importance of having that pre-applied butyl tape on there, because I honestly feel like butyl tape is a step that is skipped by a lot of roofers. And anytime that metal's touching metal, is a good general rule, you should have some sort of seal right there. And you're making it easy. These guys aren't out there on a hot day trying to get a roll of butyl tape out and string it on. It's already there. Like, all you have to do is just take the wax paper off and stick it down on the roof. And that really is a super important step. Am I right about having a butyl tape applied to your Z closure up there at the ridge?
That's correct. So the roofing contractor, he can grab a box of Snap Z's from True Metal Supply. He can go up the ladder and set them down on the ridge, pull them out of the box, peel the backer off the butyl tape, stick them down between the panels, and run screws down through the pre-punched holes that are on the backside of the Snap Z.
So they don't even have to drill through the piece. They can just they can go right through the slots that Manny's already put in there for them. That makes it even easier.
Short of Manny coming out and installing these for you, like, I don't know what anybody could possibly complain about the product.
That's right. And then you'll get the quality cap that True Metal Supply supplies for these guys, and they'll snap it right onto the Z closures, put a few rivets in, and call it a day.
You guys have put a really cool video together showing the installation of this product, and that's one of the tools that I use when I'm talking to contractors. It helps to show, you can run a line and you can, know where the face or the front side of that snap Z closure needs to be, so the ridge cap can then lock onto it. It talks about peeling and screw placement. And you even have a nice video that shows you can finish off your ridge cap, which is maybe not necessarily part of the product that you're making, but it really shows how to create a good finished roofing system that has great ventilation on there. So that video is one that we show often. Yeah. Another video that I check out from time to time that is really interesting, and I hope that you recall this, or I'm going to look a little bit silly, but I think that you guys did a survey among your customers or at an event, comparing the black Snap Z closure compared to some of the colored closures, because that's one of the questions that has come up. Why are you guys only stocking black? And we kind of looked at the video that you created, and it sounds like black is actually a better uniform fit with almost every color, every metal roofing color that's out there. What's your experience with the various colors, and why the black seems to be such a good fit for most colored roof systems?
Yeah, you're right, Adam. I as a roofing contractor, historically always use a Z closure that's the same color as your metal roof, right? It's just what you do. And so the black Z closure, we started as we were entering into production on this part. We began to see that for a company like True Metal Supply, for them to bring in, I don't know how many colors you guys offer. Is it 15, 20 colors? Usually that's about typical. Right. And we started thinking, wait a minute, so you're going to be putting all this product on your shelf, and you might order 500 parts of red, and that might sit on your shelf for an entire year. And it's just not going to move a lot, because some days you'll move a lot of red, and some days more blue, and some days more green. It's kind of the way it works in the metal roofing industry, as you guys know. And so we started thinking, well, wait a minute, how about if we make this a universal part that can fit all the different colors? And we looked at the grays first, and that wasn't such a good option. And so we said, well, how about we try black? And, really what ended up happening, it was a very interesting process. The black actually will hide the imperfections of the seam. So if you have, let's say you got a silver roof and you have a seam that's at a slight angle, and if you have a silver Z closure there that you're putting down, installing there between the ribs, that angle will actually show up as black. The angle from the silver in between the gap shows up as black. Well, if your Z closure is black, that angle there ends up blending with the rest of the line of the Snap Z parts, with a black line going across there. So it looks more uniform instead of silver, a little black, and then silver and some black. It's what ended up happening. It was not something that we had. Again, I'm not an engineer. I don't think like that. We did it through trial and error and said, oh, that's interesting. That looks uniform. So.
Yeah, from my perception, it really blends into the shadow. I mean, you got there's a ridge cap that's on top of your Z channel there, and so it creates a bit of a shadow underneath the ridge cap, and those black Z channels just blend right into the shadow line of the roof. It's really nice.
And in this video that Manny and his team put together, I don't remember how many people were part of the survey, but it was like 70 people, and 50 of them said, yeah, the black looks better than the color. I mean, it was a significant percentage of contract. And I think it was actually installers who were saying, yeah, the black looks better than the color match Snap Z. And so, for us, we could take advantage of the fact that it helps our inventory position, but it really provides a better option for the end user. And that's what an easy thing to do. And, we have contractors, they might have some left over from a project, knowing that they have another standing seam job that's coming up next week. They just keep them right on hand, and they can use them for the next project. They don't have to mix and match the colors. And what is a sense of ease for that product and the simplicity of the color options.
Well, Manny, thanks, man, for hopping on the podcast here with us. This was awesome and very informative, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is really good. SnapZ, guys, we sell this product here at True Metal Supply. We sell it here in store. You can give us a call. We sell it online. You can go to truemetalsupply.com and look at our online store, and there is SnapZ right there.
Yeah, and hopefully Manny's going to be able to join us for a grand opening here in October. We'll try to have, see if we can pick a day where he can come down here, and maybe we can even set up the little survey booth that they had. Click the red button for the black on black, or pick the white button for the color match, and that'd be a really cool way to interact with our customers down here. So I'm just kind of throwing that at you, Manny. But if you think that's something that makes sense, that'd be a cool thing to do. But yeah, Manny, we really appreciate you. We appreciate the support that you've shown to us as as we're working to get this venture up and going and looking to impact the Knoxville market. We know the Pennsylvania market is hot with metal roofing. It's always been a really strong market, and we're glad that you're there.
We're cool with metal roofing.
With metal roofing, but we appreciate your innovation, and we appreciate everything that you do to help create the best systems for the customers.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm excited to be partnering with you guys, with Adam and Mason. I have absolute confidence that Knoxville is going to be impacted by True Metal Supply. And I'm really excited to see where you guys are going to go.
Thank you, Manny. We really appreciate that. And thanks for everybody that was listening in. If you like what you're listening to, hit the subscribe button. We put content out like this all the time. And our goal is to help inform homeowners and contractors to make really good, educated decisions about the products they're buying. So until next time, thanks for listening.